Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Scarlet with Scarlet's Little Crafty Corner, and today is the second video for the Feelin' Groovy event. This is week 2, so I'm just going to go over real quick the I guess rules, if that's what you want to call it, and then we'll get right into the video. So first off, I just want to say welcome to all my new subscribers, and for all of y'all that has been with me for a while, welcome back. I also want to apologize. I rewatched my video from last week, and y'all, if this was a drinking game, somebody would be drunk if you took a shot every time I said, okay, so, okay, so, okay, so. And I apologize. Y'all, I had to laugh at myself because I was nervous, number one. And, you just start talking, you really don't realize what you're saying until you go and you rewatch your videos. So I am going to try in this video not to say, okay, so, every time I go to start another sentence. And again, I completely apologize because I know that is so aggravating, the repetitiveness of it. So I'm sorry. All right. The rules to this, oh, and I apologize for the lighting because it's late as I'm filming this. The rules to the April event for Diamond Painting with Friends 2.0, it is Feelin' Groovy, hashtag Feelin' Groovy. And the only thing that I am asking, because I've had a few people email me wanting to know exactly what I was, what I'm asking for. And I'm not really asking for a lot. I would just like for you to be subscribed to my channel. I would like for everyone to participate. And when I say participate, I would like for you to all comment in my videos. That way I'm kind of keeping track. I have made a spreadsheet and I've got everybody's name in it. That your what project you're working on. And I am checking off, making sure that you are participating in the event by either commenting on my videos and answering the questions, or you are participating in the Facebook group Diamond Painting with Friends 2.0. If you've not joined that group, please go do that. That way you can participate in the event there. I am also asking for everyone to send me progress pictures of whatever it is they're working on. You can, if you don't have Facebook, you can send me an email with your picture. I've had several people do that. And I will take your picture and I will go post it in the Facebook group so everybody can see it. And if you are in the Facebook group, each week I am going to do a post, probably on Saturday, saying, hey, this is the end of week whatever. Can you please post your progress pictures in the comments below? And then that's where you're going to go and you're going to post that week's progress. And I'm doing this because this is a giveaway event. The giveaway is being sponsored by JeniRose, and she has a Facebook group where you can purchase her items that she has for sale. And I will leave a link to everything in my description box so that y'all can join the Facebook group. You can look in the description box also, and you're going to see all the events that we are going to be doing for this year. Who's going to be doing the event, what the event's going to be called. That way you can go ahead and, prepare for the next month's event if you need to purchase a canvas. And, that will give y'all the theme. Also, we have that listed, each month's event and who's hosting it, listed in the Facebook group. If you go up at the top where it says features, you can click on that and it's going to show you the calendar that we have listed with everybody, each month, each person hosting each theme. So you can go check that out. I will have JeniRose's Facebook group in my description box. That way you can go check her out. She has mugs, coffee mugs. She has bags, cover minders. She has all kinds of release papers that she has made. And if you are hosting an event, you can go talk to her and see if she would like to collaborate with you on your event. I'm sure she would. But since I am talking about JeniRose, I did get the package that she sent that has the giveaway products in it. So I am going to pull that all out and I'm going to show it to you. All right, so the first thing that I have got that she is going to, that she made for the giveaway is a 20-ounce skinny tumbler. It comes in this box. And she has printed this month's theme, which is Feeling Groovy, and she has got this all the way around. It is so pretty. Has all your stuff in here on how to wash, how to take care and manage the cup. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it glows under a black light. So, and then here's the straw for this. So here's the cup, or the mug, or tumbler, I guess. All right. The next thing that she sent for the giveaway, I guess I need to move that, is this tote bag. Now, this is a pretty good sized tote bag, and it's pretty thick. It's a canvas, and it's got really good strong handles on it. And then, now I am going to say that I did notice when I got this and I took everything out to make sure it was all okay. This is upside down, but she is making a new one to send to me to replace this one because the picture is upside down. But this is your tote bag. Okay, so you got a tumbler, a tote bag, and I'm not done. Okay, she has also sent, let me get this out. She has also sent this notebook. And it has got, it's like a day planner, or you can use it as a journal. You can do anything you want to with this. So she has got this printed all the way around. It says Feeling Groovy on the spine. And on the front, it has the Feeling Groovy logo. It has the attached ribbon so you can keep your place. Okay, we have that. And then she has sent a pack of release papers. You know what? I don't want to open this, but I have some that Donna at Diamond Art Joy that she sent me that she had purchased. But these are the release papers. And they're pretty thick. And they work really, really good. I've been using them with this canvas that I'm working on. But there's your release papers. So you've got a pack of release papers in here. So that is what you're going to get with the giveaway. Now, I used to have an Etsy shop where I made and sold cover minders. Now, I might even throw in a few cover minders that I made when I had my Etsy shop, because I still have a ton of cover minders left that I never sold. So when I shut my shop, closed my shop or whatever, I still have all that. So I thought maybe one day I might try to open an Etsy shop again, but I don't know. So that is what you're going to get in the giveaway. So I hope y'all like everything. I think it's a really good giveaway. Really nice giveaway. So when we are finished with this event, the very last video, I will do a giveaway. I'll put everybody's names that is participating in the event. I'll put all your names in a wheel, and we'll just spin the wheel and see who wins. And that's how we're going to do it. Okay. Y'all, look, I am going to be so self-conscious now so that I don't say, okay, so. I'll probably be saying a lot of ums. Okay. I am going to do a few trivia questions, I think. And just talk about, a few things about the 60s and 70s. Again, I hope y'all are enjoying this video, the videos, the events. I've had tons of people tell me that they are really enjoying themselves, and I am so happy because I was really worried that it would kind of be a flop, just because this is the first time I've hosted a event. That just fell out. I hope that's not broke. All right, I've got a hitchhiker in there. I am going to be working this little square here, and I hope y'all can see this. I know I've got my canvas like at a weird angle. I've already completed, I started on the bottom, and I've already completed 2 rows down here for the first week, and I just started this right here. I went ahead, because y'all always do the black first. I don't know. It's like coloring. I always do the outline first, and then I go in and I fill. So when it is a canvas, like, I think the Hannah Lynn's are like this too. But I know Micah, she outlines everything in black, and then, you go back in and you fill it. So that's how I do it. All right, now, I told y'all about the rules. Oh, and I'm so sorry, but it has to be U.S. only, because I looked into postage, And it is just going to cost way too much for me to send you a package if you are out of the U.S. I mean, and I'm sorry. I am so sorry. So yeah, it's going to have to be U.S. only. Subscribe to me. Leave a comment. Answer questions underneath all of my videos. Go to the Facebook group. Join the group if you haven't already. And, participate in there. I've been asking a trivia question. I meant to do one today and I forgot. But I've been doing a trivia question every day. And they're pretty easy. I really need to find some hard ones because the ones I've posted so far has been really kind of easy. Plus, that's where you're going to post your progress pictures, unless you send them to me, and then I will post them for you if you don't have Facebook. And yeah, I mean, that's about it as far as the rules go. I hate calling them rules, but yeah. All right, let's do a couple trivia questions, and then we can talk about some different things in the 60s and 70s. Okay, I am working on 702, which are the E's, and hopefully y'all are not watching me, because I don't even know if I'm in frame, just to be totally honest with you. I hope y'all are working on whatever project you decided to choose for this. And again, y'all have really outdone yourselves with picking out your canvases, because they are gorgeous. I have not seen not one yet that I didn't like. The colors that's in all of them, a lot of them are really spot on with the theme, and they're awesome. They're totally groovy. So I really appreciate everybody's cooperation with that. All right, let's look at these trivia questions. Now, these are from the 60s, and these are kind of general. I've got general questions. I've got song questions. I just got like TV show, all kinds. They're kind of mixed up. All right. Name the band that floated listeners away with the dreamy album Surrealistic Pillow in 1967. Now, this band, I love this band. They have got really a lot of really good songs. And y'all, I listen to them now. I listen to all classic rock, classic music. You know what I'm saying? 60s, 70s music. That's really what I listen to. But the answer is Jefferson Airplane. That was the only one I had on that page. All right, let's see. Name the band that serenaded us with Days of Future Past in the magical year of 1967. I'm going to try to give y'all just a few minutes to answer, and feel free if you want to put your answers in the comment sections, and like you're playing along, feel free to. So the answer would be the Moody Blues. Okay, in what legendary year did Led Zeppelin drop their first album and rock the world. Y'all, Led Zeppelin has got to be one of my all-time favorite bands. I don't think, well, there's one or two songs of theirs that I'm just like, but I like them all. It's just they're not my favorite. But I love me some Zeppelin. But the answer is 1969. Okay. Next question. Who penned the jazzy theme for Johnny Carson's late night gig in the swingin' 60s? I used to watch Johnny Carson all the time. Well, when I got older and was allowed to stay up that late. And usually that was on weekends. But most of the time, by the time the news came on and went off, I had to go to bed. But I love Johnny Carson. And did y'all know that they still show Johnny Carson on, I think, is it Hulu? One of the things, you can put in Johnny Carson and you can still watch Johnny Carson. Like, I think maybe from the beginning. I'm not sure. But I know that they show Johnny Carson reruns. But the answer is Paul Anka. Y'all, this canvas is really, really going well. I have not had any issues other than the staticky drills. And, well, I will take that back. The 310s suck. I'm just going to say it. They suck really, really bad. And it's like the very first 310s that Diamond Art Club ever had. That's how bad they are. They're like really bad. They're staticky as all get outs, and they are so misshapen. They have got like trash all up in the bags. There's like tabs and stuff all over them, but it's like some of them are not even smooth, or you can't really even see the facets of them because they're just weird. They're just old is how they feel, which is crazy because Sunshine just came out Black Friday. So I don't understand why the drills are so bad. But if anybody else has done Sunshine, let me know if your drills were bad, your 310s. They're the only ones. It's just the 310s. Everything else is fine. Okay, so let's see what other questions I have. What is the answer to that one? What tubular phrase had groovy young people exclaiming excitement and approval during the 60s? So what was the phrase that was popular in the 60s? Y'all know? You want me to tell you? Far out. It was far out. That is the answer. Far out. I probably still use that every now and again. All right. So here are some toys. Popular toys for the 60s. And my first question that you can put down in the comments, I keep wanting to pick 4 of those up, and I only need 2. The first question will be, What was your favorite toy as a child? Can you remember what your first, or not your first toy, but your favorite toy was? I had a lot. Well, I loved my bicycle. I had, I don't know if I can, if well, I'll figure something out about my favorite toy, because I didn't really play with a lot of toys. I was mostly outside. I mean, my bicycle. Um, I don't know. I had to think about it. So, some of the popular toys of the 1960s were Chatty Cathy. Did anybody have a Chatty Cathy doll? I did not. I didn't play with dolls, but I was not born in the 60s. I was born in 71. I remember it being talked about, a Chatty Cathy doll, but I don't know if I ever seen one. Of course, like I said, I didn't play with dolls, so I'm not sure. Okay, G.I. Joes. Those were popular. And then we have Hot Wheels. And these are also toys that came out in the 60s. So Hot Wheels has been around since the 60s. Now, I did have a few Hot Wheels. I ain't even gonna lie. I had some Hot Wheels, and I had, oh my gosh, what were they called? They were little trucks. Was it Stompers? Was that the name of them? They were little trucks and cars that had motors in them, and they had wheels that were like foamy, and they would like climb up stuff. I think they might have been Stompers. I don't know. I don't remember. So they had Hot Wheels. And y'all, I know if you didn't have one, I know you probably knew of somebody who had one, or you've seen them today. But the Rock'em Sock'em robots. My cousins had some, and we would play them. So Rock'em Sock'em robots. And then there was the Etch-a-Sketch. I had one of those. Super Ball, which is just it was a rubber ball that, bounced really, really high. And then Plastic Army Men. They came out in the 60s. I had some of those. And Plastic Cowboy and Indians. I had some of those. Pinball machines came out in the 60s. I loved pinball machines. I remember going to the arcade and playing those. And there's some places you can still find pinball machines and still play. I know sometimes you can find them at the bowling alley if you go to the bowling alley. I don't know if they still do. I haven't been to a bowling alley in years, but I know they used to. And then, y'all, I had a pair of these. Does anybody remember clackers? And they're also called knockers or gerbangers. We called them clackers, but they were a string. There was a piece of plastic. The ones I had was a piece of plastic about this long, to where you could hold it. And there was two pieces of string. Well, it was real thick, like string. And it had two. Mine, the balls were wooden, but I think they made them in different things. But mine had two wooden balls at the end. And you would set and you'd do this, and they'd hit each other. And then you could take and make them, go up on the top of your hands. And anyway, they are banned. Did y'all know that? They banned those because they said that they were dangerous because people would clack them so hard that they would bust, and then it was a danger because it could, you know, splinter and, you know, get into your skin or, you know, take your eye out. So those are just a few of the 60s toys. So do y'all want to hear some of the board games and stuff that came out in the 60s? So Twister, the game Twister, came out in the 60s. And you know, it's funny because a lot of these games, even the toys, like the Etch-a-Sketch and the Hot Wheels, you know, the kids play with those now, you know, and this is 2025. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So there was Twister, and then Candyland. I used to love Candyland. I had a Candyland. Both of my kids, I made sure when they were little that both of them had a Candyland. And now, some of these games are so expensive nowadays when you go to look for them because they're considered vintage, I guess. But sometimes you can come up on a deal, like, you know, for Christmas and stuff. Sometimes they'll run a deal for the games, and they're a little bit cheaper. So we have got Aggravation. Do y'all remember Aggravation? I love Aggravation. That one was with marbles, and you would go around the board and you would try to take out other people's marbles, and then try to make it back to your own spot. I think it's been a while since I played it, but I'm thinking that's how it went. But I used to like that game. And then we have this one I've never heard of, Smackaroo. Did anybody have a Smackaroo board game? Like I said, I don't know about that one. And then there's the Mousetrap. Now, I personally did not have that game, but my cousin did, and we played it a couple times. Now, I didn't really care too much for it, but I have played it. And then, of course, the Ouija board, which I don't consider that a board game. But I mean, that's what it's listed as. And then there's the Patty Duke game. Did anybody have the Patty Duke game? I did not. Okay. And then the Skipper game. I did not have that. I don't think I've ever heard of that one either. Or the Animal Talk. I don't know about that one. And a game called Bash. Do y'all know what that is? I have no clue what Bash is. So, some of the 70s games, toys. Okay, we've got Hungry Hungry Hippo. Now, my sister had that. I might have had it and then gave it to her. I don't know. But I do remember it being in the house. And then I bought it for my kids when they were little. I always liked that game. I thought it was cute. And then we have the Rubik's Cube. Oh my God, y'all. I could never do the Rubik's Cube. And quite frankly, when I seen that other people were taking them things apart and then piecing them back together, that's what we did. And then, do you remember speaking of the Rubik's Cube, they also had the snake. Then they had, what was the one that was the lynx? That might have just been what its name. I don't remember, but it was different colored. It was kind of round and long, and it had like different colored links, like a chain link, and you would have to turn it and try to get the links lined up. I remember that one. And then Atari. Oh my Lord, Atari. I think that's when everybody just kind of went nutso, is when the Atari came out. And then everybody just kind of went bonkers over electronics. The Light Bright. Do y'all remember the Light Bright? Do you know you can still buy the Light Brights also? I love the Light Bright. I had one. The only bad thing is once you did the little black papers that had the pictures and stuff on it, that was it. You could go back and redo them, or you could buy extra packs, but I mean, we didn't. I mean, it was like, as soon as all that pack of the different pictures, as soon as you did them, that's it. Then it was just, you just stuck the little pegs in different spots and made like designs. So, there was the Light Bright, and then, oh, one of my, you know what? This probably was my favorite toy, Weebles. Do y'all remember Weebles? Weebles, wobbles, but they don't fall down. I guess that would have to be my favorite toy, was the Weebles. I had the Weebles house, and then I had the Weebles haunted house that had the little ghost Weeble, and it had the little, I think it was might have been a Frankenstein Weeble. Anyway, they were monsters. But I used to love Weebles. Weebles, wobbles, but they don't fall down. Loved them. Then there was Star Wars, Little People, which was those little wooden people that had the hole in them, and it had like the barn and all that. Nerf ball. Yeah. I don't really remember playing with the Nerf ball. But we played like badminton and volleyball and yard darts and croquet. We played all those, but I don't remember playing with the Nerf. My kids did. And then there was the pogo stick. Did anybody have a pogo stick? Did anybody break a bone using the pogo stick? Because that's hard. That's a hard thing to do, was the pogo stick. And then we've got Tonka trucks. My son had a Tonka truck, and that thing lasted forever. I think we ended up giving it away once he outgrew it. But yeah, and that thing was just absolutely indestructible because my son was pretty hard on it. Matter of fact, he used to take and put his knee in the dump bed, and like it was a scooter, and he would scoot across everything. We've got the Magic 8 Ball. We got the Spirograph, Stretch Armstrong, the Viewmaster. Oh, I used to love the Viewmaster. And Lincoln Logs. Do you not remember Lincoln Logs and the smell of Lincoln Logs? And Tinker Toys. Do you remember Tinker Toys? I had both of those, and I used to love those. And I can smell them now, just talking about them. And the little Golden books. Do y'all remember the little Golden books? Yep. Okay, and then we have the Simon. Do y'all remember the Simon? That was fun. I had one of those. And then I had this thing called the Major Morgan and Melody Madness. Those were some of the electronic games that I had growing up. that I wish, oh my God, I wish I had kept a lot of the stuff that I used to have, because now, oh my Lord, it'd probably be worth something now. And then there is Connect 4. I love Connect 4. And Mastermind. I never played that. And then you have Trouble, the game Trouble. And Jaws. And Battleship. Anybody play Battleship? And then there was the game Bigfoot. I remember that one. I had that one. Clue. I love Clue. Of course, you know, Miss Scarlet. Oh, I had to pause real quick. I started coughing. But yeah, it was like Miss Scarlet or Colonel Mustard in the library with the pipe wrench. Okay, and then we have Yahtzee. Look, I missed those two E's. Does anybody still play Yahtzee? I haven't played it in a long time. I used to have a Yahtzee, like the electronic Yahtzee. I used to have that. Played it quite often. And Life. The game of life. Do y'all remember that? You know, my aunt, uncle, my parents, they'd all get together every once in a while. And they would play that. But they really played a lot of card games like Rummy and Spades and, you know, stuff like that. But I do remember them playing Life because I wanted to play with the little bitty pegs and they wouldn't let me. All right, so those were some toys and some game. Oh, no, I have added some on the side. Cooties. Do y'all remember Cooties? Yeah. Pickup sticks. And then you've got the Woolly Willy. Do y'all remember Woolly Willy? The little guy that had those little, I don't know what that stuff was, but it was magnetic, and you'd take the little stick with the magnet on it, and you would give him hair, and you could make a mustache and a beard on him. Yeah. And then there's the Easy Bake Oven, roller skates, paddleball, the Willow. Y'all remember that? That little, it had a plastic handle, and it had these two metal things that went around, and it had this wheel that had two little points on it, and you would put the points on the metal pieces, and it would roll, and you just, I don't know what really the purpose of that game thing was, but anyway, it was cool. Gumby, Silly Putty, and like Old Maid and Go Fish. Yeah. Such good games and toys. All right, y'all. So what about some of the candies that came out in the 60s and 70s? Now, there was a lot of them, and I just kind of went through and I typed up some that I could remember, and I know that a lot of them you can still get if you go look at Cracker Barrel or even the Dollar Tree, believe it or not. So we have got Chiclets. Now this one I don't know. Abba Zaba. I'm not sure about what that was. If anybody remembers, let me know. And we got Chuckles and Lemon Heads and Safety Pops. Do y'all remember Safety Pops? They still make those. And those were the little flat suckers with the cardboard handle that instead of it being a straight stick, it looped back into the sucker. So it was like having a looped piece of cardboard. It is about the best thing, like a roped piece of cardboard, but it went back into your sucker. Kits flavored taffy. I'm not sure what that is. Candy cigarettes. Y'all, we was all using cigarettes when we were little. Let's see. We had Astro Pop. Do y'all remember Astro Pop? And then we have Candy Buttons, Charleston Chews. And I know Charleston Chews, you can still get those at Cracker Barrel and at the Dollar Tree. And then there was Chico Sticks. Oh my God, I love them things. You can still get those at both of those places also. And then Mallow Cups. Do y'all remember those? It was like marshmallow. They look like Reese's peanut butter cups, except for the inside was marshmallow. And then Mary Jane's. And then we have the Necco wafers. I love those. It was kind of like a chalky candy, I guess, but I liked them. They were different flavors. And I remember, I think it was the root beer one that I wasn't crazy about that flavor, but the rest of them were okay. And then of course you got the Nick and Nip, okay, which are the wax bottles with that juice stuff in it. You take and honestly don't really know the purpose of that candy either, except you would take and bite the end off of it and you could drink the juice out, but then you could also chew the wax like gum. Yeah. And then Razzles and Pop Rocks and Hubba Bubba and Bubble Yum. Do y'all remember that? Oh my gosh, I used to love the watermelon Hubba Bubba. And you could blow some good bubbles with that stuff. I loved it. I think my favorite gum of all time, though, was the cinnamon dentine. Because you could chew that stuff forever and it stayed soft and it kept its flavor and it popped good. You know, like when you chew and it pop, pop, pop. Yep. Okay, and then Good and Plenty. Y'all remember those? Those are like, they were little pink and white candy, licorice type candies. You can still get those at the Dollar Tree too. I used to get those a lot. And then Fireballs. It was Atomic Balls or something like that. They were the jawbreakers, them great big jawbreakers that were like red hot cinnamon flavored. Oh, them things were so good. Okay, so that is some of the candies. So the next question that I would like for you to answer, the first question is, what was your favorite toy as a kid growing up? And if you are not, just because you're not born or lived through the 60s or 70s, you can still answer these questions. And let's see. What else? Okay, what about, do y'all remember cars back in the day that still had ashtrays and lighters in them? Yep. I would take and me and my cousins, I had one cousin and he was just mean. He was always mean and he'd always stay all night. He spent the summer at my grandmother's, and I used to live next door to my grandmother. And he was like 2 years older than me. But when we would go anywhere with my grandmother, we would be in the car and he would always get the lighters and then try to burn me with them, because they were like little, you'd push them in and then they'd get hot, and then once they got to a certain temperature, they'd pop out. So he would take and get it and then always, play like he was gonna burn me with them. Always had me squealing and crap in the back because I was always afraid he was going to burn me. And he probably would have too, because he was mean. And then the windows, you'd have to crank the windows down. Wasn't none of that electric button stuff. We actually had to manually crank them windows down. Oh. And the cars with the little triangle vent window on the, up at the front beside the regular window. Do y'all remember that? Yep. Okay, and do y'all remember being able to even purchase glass Coke bottles and then taking the empty bottles in to get credit? We had a grocery store, and I remember going to the grocery with my mom every week. I think it was every Friday. We would go to the grocery store, and she would take the container that had our bottles in it, the glass Coke bottles, and I would get to take, and she would put them on a conveyor belt, and I got to push them and watch them go down through the conveyor belt into the back of the store. I got to do that every week. That was pretty cool. I remember that. And then, let's see, gas stations. Do you remember when you could pull up at a gas station and the attendant would actually come out and pump your gas for you? Then they would wash your windshield. They would check your oil, and you would pay them, and you never even got out of your car. Never even got out of your car. That would not happen nowadays for nothing. Ain't nobody gonna come pump your gas for you. So yeah, I remember that. And let's see, your televisions. We were the remote controls. We had 3 channels, 3, 6, and 12. That's what I remember. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but we had 3, 6, and 12. And then we had, well, I'm in Kentucky, so we had KET, which was the Kids Educational Television channel. And that channel, you had to really work at trying to get that one to come in. And you'd have your little rabbit ears with the aluminum foil hanging off the rabbit ears. And you had that one knob that turned your channel. And then you had the other knob that did, I don't know what that was really. It was like UVH, I don't know. But you would have to turn it, and it would click and click, click. And you would have to try to adjust it to where your TV channel would come in. And you could see static, but you could hear the voice, and it was just a little bit more, and you could get it to come into a little bit of focus, but it was still real staticky, and you was back there adjusting the rabbit ears, trying to get that channel to come in. Yeah, I remember them days. And then if you were like us, we had that great big old wooden TV that sat in the floor that we had the other TV sitting on. Y'all remember that? Yeah, we had one of those. And let's see, what about Halloween costumes, y'all? I remember one of my very first Halloween costumes was Casper. And if you don't know who that is, that's Casper the Friendly Ghost. And basically all that was a white garbage bag that had arm hose and leg hose, and it had a plastic mask that had 2 teeny tiny spots at your eyes, and then 2 little bitty spots for your nose, and a little bitty slit for your mouth, so that you wouldn't suffocate to death. But they were so hot you couldn't breathe. And me, I had glasses, okay? As a kid, I grew up, I was wearing glasses. And I'd put them masks on, and my glasses would get so fogged up, I couldn't see. So I'd have to take the mask off, wipe my glasses off, put the mask back on, or just not wear my glasses. And then I still couldn't see. Y'all remember those? I do. I remember those. And then there was the highlight magazines, the TV guide. Oh my Lord, my grandmother, she got a TV guide every week. She would do the crossword puzzles in that TV guide every week. And it would tell everything that was coming on. And I just thought it was so cool because there were so many channels in the TV guide, but we didn't get them channels. So it was like, wow, I wonder what this show is. Wonder what that show is. Because that was the people who had the cable, you know, or the good stuff. So yeah, I remember those. And then the National Geographic. Y'all remember those? Mad Magazine. Look, every week when me and my mom went to the grocery store, I begged her for a Mad Magazine. Most of the time she'd let me get one, but sometimes she wouldn't. And I remember the very back cover of Mad Magazine, you had to fold it a certain way, and then it would show a different picture. And then some stuff that was in that Mad Magazine was a little, well, it would probably be considered raunchy and stuff today. But back then, it was just like funny. And then, you know, in the back of the comic books and stuff, that's where you could find the listing for the sea monkeys and the those glasses, so that you're supposed to be able to see through people's clothes and stuff with those glasses. Do y'all remember that stuff? Oh my. Yeah. Green stamps. The oil lamps. Do y'all remember the oil lamps? My grandmother had an oil lamp that hung in the corner, and it had the woman standing in the middle of like this garden, and then all the way around it had those little real skinny pieces of metal, I guess, but it had that oil that would drip down, and it looked like rain. I remember that. And then my grandmother, one of my grandmothers, she had one of the aluminum Christmas trees. Yep. I used to think that was the ugliest thing ever. And now people pay good money for those. If you can find one, they will pay good money for an aluminum Christmas tree. All right, so cartoons. Do y'all remember cartoons and TV shows back in the day? Okay, so we have got the Flintstones, and we have got the Jetsons, Scooby-Doo, Johnny Quest, Space Ghost, Bugs Bunny Show, the Archie Show. Do y'all remember the Archie comic books? Oh, I used to love them. I don't even know. I know one was Veronica, Archie. Oh my gosh. I don't even remember the rest of them. I remember Veronica and I remember Archie. And then there was the Underdog, Quick Draw, McGraw. I don't remember that one. Of course, these are 60s. These are the 60s cartoons. You've got Tom and Jerry, the Pink Panther, Fantastic Four, the Roadrunner, Mighty Mouse. I used to love Mighty Mouse. What was it? He said, "Here we are to save the day. Mighty Mouse is on his way." Yeah, I remember Mighty Mouse. And then the Yogi Bear Show, Popeye, The Adventures of Batman, Mr. Magoo. Do y'all remember Mr. Magoo? The Three Stooges. I used to love the Three Stooges. The Inspector, A Charlie Brown Christmas, and the Mighty Hercules. Those are from the 60s. Now the 70s cartoons, we still watched all of those, But then they added Josie and the Pussycats, which I don't remember that one, and the Groovy Ghoulies, Addams Family, Dr. Dolittle, the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Super Chicken, Casper the Friendly Ghost, George of the Jungle, and Journey to the Center of the Earth. And do y'all remember Deputy Dog or Bullwinkle and Rocky? Now, those are old. I don't think they show those at all anymore. So, here is my third question. What was your favorite cartoon when you were a kid? So, I think I would have to say that mine was Scooby-Doo. I loved Scooby-Doo. I still watch Scooby-Doo. If I ever see it on, I'll watch it. I used to watch it with my kids. Now, I wasn't crazy about Scrappy, the Scooby-Doo's, what was he, nephew or something? I didn't really care for him. But, yeah, I loved Scooby-Doo. So, that's your 3 questions for this week's Whip and Chat for Feeling Groovy. Is what is your favorite candy growing up? Or what was your favorite candy growing up? What was your favorite toy growing up? And what was your favorite cartoon growing up? So, and then there was some other shows, like, do y'all remember Romper Room? Did any of you get on Romper Room? I remember I had 2 cousins that was on Romper Room, and I thought that was just the neatest thing. And do y'all remember those little yellow cups that they would stand on, and then they had that green plastic thing, and you would walk with them? I don't even remember what them things were called, but I remember them. And then, do you remember Uncle Briggs? Or Captain Kangaroo? Or the New Zoo Review? Do y'all remember that? What about the Electric Company? Did anybody watch the Electric Company? It used to come on sometimes. I think it came on right after Sesame Street. But yep, I used to love the Electric Company. It was so cool. And then there was the TV show Alf. Do y'all remember Alf? He used to eat cats. And what about dinosaurs? Not the mama, not the mama. Do y'all remember that? I used to love those shows. Mork and Mindy. Yep. And I remember at night when I was growing up, we used to watch Hill Street Blues. Do y'all remember that? Or do you remember Dallas? Knots Landing? Yeah. I don't think those were the 70s. Those are probably the 80s, but I remember growing up watching those. And that's like, like the Three Stooges, and then the Andy Griffith Show. Yeah. All those different things. Okay, so I don't know how long I have been talking. Probably about an hour. Close to it anyway. So we'll do a couple more trivia questions, and then I think I'm going to wrap this Whip and Chat up. So let's see. All right, which legendary 60s band still gets rave reviews for their groundbreaking albums that changed music forever? Y'all, that would be the Beatles. My favorite Beatle. Bonus question. Who's your favorite Beatle? My favorite Beatle would be John Lennon. He was my favorite. I love his music. Even when he went solo. I mean, I like them all, but he would have to be my favorite. Which soulful singer launched the magical 1968 album Astral Weeks? That would be Van Morrison. Which fab group serenaded us with Stop in the Name of Love in 1965? That would be the Supremes. Who shook things up by going electric at the legendary 1965 Newport Folk Festival? That would be Bob Dylan. And I think this will be our last one. And I'm going to wrap this video up. So, what was the name of the Who's infamous drummer who was out of this world? That would be Keith Moon. Okay, so I hope y'all have enjoyed this video. And remember, in order to be eligible for the giveaway, you have got to participate in these videos and show me a progress picture each week. That's really, I mean, basically what all I'm asking. So your 3 questions for this week's video, again, is what was your favorite toy growing up? What was your favorite candy growing up? And what was your favorite cartoon when you were growing up? So just make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. If you are in the Facebook, or if you have Facebook, make sure you're subscribed to the Facebook group, Diamond Painting with Friends 2.0. All of this will be left in the description box. Go by, check out JeniRose. That way you can see everything that she has to offer in her shop. And yeah. So I, again, hope you're all enjoying this. I've racked my brain trying to come up with things to do during this event because there's 5 weeks in this month. So, if you think I could do anything any different, let me know. If there's something you would like to see, let me know. And, yeah. So, all right, y'all, I am going to wrap this up because I'm starting to ramble. So enjoy. I hope you enjoy the video. And, yeah, I guess I will just see y'all in my next video. Okay? All right. I hope y'all have a groovy week. Thanks for watching. Bye, y'all.